We were looking at the money multiplier and what factors determine the size of the money multiplier. Here we looked at how the money multiplier is 1 by C plus theta, 1 minus C. So it's affected by change in two parameters. The first was the reserve deposit ratio theta, which we looked at earlier. Now second is C, which is the fraction of total money demand held as currency. So we have already looked at the effects of an increase in theta. Now, if we move on to the effects of an increase in C. Now, we know the money multiplier is 1 by C plus theta, 1 minus C. Now, C appears in two places. So what we'll first do is, we'll first combine these two C's into one so that we can analyze the effect of the change in C on the money multiplier. Right now, it's appearing in two places. So we'll combine it into one so we can easily see what happens to the money multiplier if C changes. So for this, let's just write this up. So we can expand this as 1 by C plus theta minus theta C. Now we can combine the C terms into one. For that, we'll write it as 1 by C minus theta C plus theta. And then this becomes 1 by C, 1 minus theta plus theta. So basically, we've rewritten the money multiplier with C terms combined as follows. 1 by C times 1 minus theta plus theta. So now once we have the C terms combined, right, here we have two C's appearing. So we combine them into one and rewrote the money multiplier like this with the C terms combined. From here we can see that as C increases, the denominator of the money multiplier increases, so the money multiplier decreases. Because we know when the denominator of a fraction goes up, the fraction goes down in value. So once we have combined the C terms and rewritten the money multiplier, we can see that an increase in C reduces the money multiplier. But let's look at the economic intuition behind that. Okay, why does the money multiplier decrease when C increases? For this, let's recall banks create money by making loans using the deposits they receive, as when they make loans, they create new deposits and new currency in circulation, which is new money. So now when C increases, we know C represents the fraction of total money demand held as currency rather than deposits. So when C increases, people are keeping a greater proportion of their money in the form of currency rather than deposits, which means that banks have less deposit money to lend out, so they're making fewer loans. Therefore, when they make fewer loans, they're creating less new deposits and less new currency, which is new money. So when they're making fewer loans, they're creating less new deposit money and less new currency in circulation, right? So this is limiting the money creation process because now they have less deposit money to loan out. So less loans means less money creation in the form of new deposits and new currency in circulation. So this is why an increase in C reduces the value of the money multiplier. So we're seeing the money multiplier depends upon the value of theta, the reserve deposit ratio, and it depends upon the value C, which is the proportion of total money demand held as currency.